KOG Games brings HeroWarz to their Western audience. Black Desert announced its plans for the English version. Probably not what you expected. Echo of Soul releases the new Warlock class, and Overwatch finally prepares for closed beta testing. What's happening, guys? James Ballon here with MMOHuts.com with a quick weekly recap for MMO news and announcements of the week ending October 19th, 2015. Starting out the news this week, we have a brand new features trailer for the free-to-play version of WildStar that they are now calling WildStar Reloaded. The new trailer you see here breaks down the features of what WildStar offers now, very similar to my refresher I made recently, going over the new task shop mechanics and the loyalty system, as well as the small separations between free players and signature players, and of course the improvements to the new player experience. Now that the launch problems are cleared up, you can finally get in to enjoy the game. That's basically what they're trying to say here. Get the shotgun details by checking out the new features trailer here, or more of the detailed details from my refresher, if you haven't already. Besides that, starting today, October 19th, WildStar is introducing new in-game events and themes based around Halloween. Sorta. Shade's Eve, as they call it, will bring in new themed items, new instants, and plenty of public events. Next up, we have an interesting new announcement from KOG Games, the same developers behind Elsword and Grand Chase. And the news is they plan to bring HeroWarz to the West. Sporting an isometric view, which seems to be a little more popular recently with MMOs, if you've noticed, HeroWarz is a fast-paced action MMO that allows players to choose from many different playable characters, kind of like with Elsword or DFO, for example, each with unique abilities and skills. And I say DFO because KOG Games is partnering up with A.Storm, a Korean developer whose CEO is known for his work developing Dungeon Fighter Online with Neopol. So basically, HeroWarz is Elsword gone Diablo style, with a lot of characters similar to both Elsword and DFO characters. How can they go wrong there? According to the official site post, the game launched in Korea September of last year and has become one of the most popular MMORPGs there. Apparently, the developers have been working to get the game to the West sooner, and finally, it's their reality, so we can expect to see HeroWarz join KOG Games early in 2016. But speaking of new Korean titles coming to the West, Dom announced this past week that Black Desert will be coming to North America and Europe in early 2016, which we knew already, but now has officially been confirmed. But it's coming as a buy-to-play title without subscriptions, very similar to how Guild Wars 2 was before going free-to-play. Yeah, didn't exactly expect that, but it worked out well for Guild Wars 2, and it should prevent any issues with some, weird subscription systems being broken, essentially like with ArcAge. As of recently, they created an English website for future information, some of which will be details about the upcoming alpha and the new teaser trailer, which you see playing here. Oh, and speaking of alpha, might want to keep your eye out at the MMOHuts giveaway section. Just saying. As I mentioned last week, Tree of Savior is ramping up to its second English beta test, and this week the team has revealed new details. The beta test will run for 1 month, from October 27th through November 25th, and aims to improve the translation of the game. They'll also be updating the game as fast as possible to try to keep up to speed with the latest Korean version, but the best news of all, which is different from what I understood last week, I told you then that the number of testers were going to be increased by 5,000 more, but they just announced there will be no limit to the number of testers. All you need to do in order to take part is to register, which unfortunately is now expired. Sorry about that, guys. So if you haven't registered by now, it is a little too late. If you did register in time, beta keys will then be sent out via email on October 21st through the 23rd. The second closed beta is, in fact, IP blocked for countries where Tree of Savior has a local publisher already. Pretty exciting news for most of us. Head over to the site post at MMOHuts.com for all the details. As another reminder, the initial beta test for Elite Lord of Alliance kicked off this past week on the 13th. During the initial beta phase, players will have the opportunity to experience the core system of the game, which is the triple battle stance system. This lets you switch between battle stances in real time, giving you 24 skills per battle stance. Quite a lot of skills there. Each battle stance has its own unique features for playing solo, in a party, and PvP. Now, the initial test is scheduled to last for roughly 1 week, so it should be ending fairly soon, but you might have a short time to play it before then if you sign up from the official site, seeing that's all you have to do in order to get in. Definitely look forward to our first look coming to you guys really soon, and if you didn't get in to check the game out during the first closed beta, there should be another one just around the corner. On a similar note, the first closed beta for Devilian starts up on October 22nd and runs through the 26th, but most of you already knew that because the MMOHuts closed beta key giveaway pretty much exploded the internet. But if you didn't snag a key, an open beta phase has been announced and will begin shortly after the Head Start kicks off. But with that being said, servers will be wiped clean between the open beta and Head Start. I had a feeling the closed beta was going to start really soon. I mentioned that in my first look, so if you want to get a feel for the game while you wait, check out my first look to see what to expect. Next up, EST released Cabal II's Ruins of the Gods update this past week, along with a new trailer you see playing here, showcasing all the brand new content. The latest update features 3 new high-level dungeons along with a new map expansion, the Grey Canyon area, which is a new zone for players to improve and grow with all of the new content. This new area is for players level 40 plus to explore and take on new enemies, allowing them to push towards the new level cap of 45. EST Soft is also running special events to celebrate the update, such as a race to the level cap. Check out the new launch trailer and more details about the update at the site post at MMOHuts.com. Another game that launched into closed beta this past week was Dragomon Hunter, the exciting new Monster Hunter meets Pokemon-style MMORPG from X Legend, published by Area Games. Currently, you do need a key to get into that game, which thankfully doesn't last that long with games published by Area Games. Definitely not saying that's a bad thing. If you're not in the current closed beta and want to see what the game is like, our friends TheBottomTier are going to be streaming the game tomorrow, Tuesday the 19th at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/TheBottomTier. Link is in the description below. Plus, I'll be posting my first look on the game very soon, so definitely look forward to that. Keep your eye out on the MMOHuts giveaway page. We should have some Dragomon Hunter beta keys to give you guys before too long. Also from Area Games, Echo of Soul Episode 1.5 and the new Warlock class is now available to players. The latest update includes 2 entirely new dungeons, an expanded number of character slots per account, the new Warlock class, and it marks the start of a new PvP season. Combining both ranged and melee attacks, the Warlock delivers a new combat strategy, harnessing dark new abilities as a Tormentor or Reaper. The Warlock drives his enemies mad with despair. Kind of seems interesting enough to take a look at just from that information alone. But if that's not enough, pick up plenty more at the site post from the link in the description below. Even more awesome information came in last week for games that we're really looking forward to. Blizzard announced recently that Overwatch starts up beta on Tuesday, October 27th in the Americas region, with other regions to follow. And yes, you did hear me correctly, I said beta, not technical forever alpha. The developer's goal here is to get tons of feedback from its players, but at the same time, hammer the heck out of their server infrastructure, making sure that the game runs great on the widest variety of systems possible. And to do this, they're dividing the beta testers into 2 different groups, each with different mission objectives and deployment schedules. The closed beta group will form the core of the testing crew, but in addition, the team will be conducting a number of beta test weekends with larger groups of players a little later on. Be sure to sign up at the official Overwatch homepage for a chance to be chosen to participate. Hopefully the beta test goes smooth and the process doesn't turn into somewhat forever closed beta. It is Blizzard after all. Next up, we've got a little insight into Warframe's Update 18 from Digital Extremes at the New York Comic-Con recently. Update 18 is expected to bring in new cinematic quests, new tile sets on the moon, as well as new faction and login rewards reworks. Not to mention the developers announced 2 new Warframes in the works, one of which is an Archer-themed Warframe, once again bringing brand new mechanics to the game. For example, the ability to control projectile trajectory, that's a tough one to say, and the ability to loot items from enemies before you slaughter them. That's kind of cool. The second unannounced Warframe is Wukong, which is developed around the lore of Wukong, the Monkey King, of course. More information for Update 18 will be available in the coming weeks, so look forward to all the new info at MMOHuts.com. A couple of other games made some transitions on Steam last week. First up, Dungeon Defenders 2 is now in open alpha on Steam, meaning it's officially free to test and play for anyone starting now. The game is clearly still in an alpha state, according to the developers, but this will give more and more players a chance to try it out and deliver feedback to push the game to where it needs to be. Seems to be working so far. According to the recent update on their Steam page, they're actually having problems due to high traffic. Just as awesome, Brawlhalla announced that it'll be transitioning from early access closed beta to open beta on Steam on November 3rd. This game is fantastic if you're a fan of Super Smash Bros. It basically takes what makes Super Smash Bros. Combat fun and puts it into a free-to-play game with no pay-to-win elements. Definitely worth checking out when you get the chance. But finally, for our last bit of news, Gazillion Entertainment revealed some major visual changes and more coming to Marvel Heroes 2016. It's the same game as Marvel Heroes 2015, just, you know, they're going to change that number every year. Anyway, Marvel Heroes 2016 is set up to revamp features and introduce content on a regular basis, more so than it already does. Some of the new updates coming, and these are just a few, are the Secret Invasion story chapter, controller support, which is something highly requested by the community. The Mac version of the game is actually coming out of beta. Steam achievements are there, a new zone, a Thanos raid, which sounds fun, and most notably, the huge makeover to the visuals. Again, these are just a few changes coming from the game starting this December through 2016. Anyway, guys, that's about it for all the major MMO news and announcements for this week. Like always, if you're looking for more information about the news topics featured in the recap, check the links in the description below. Otherwise, head over to MMOHuts.com for even more up-to-the-minute news. Feel free to discuss the news in the comments below and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Until next time, guys, that's going to be it for me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.